and several Mozzy gang members were arrested following a shooting at his after party. At about 1 a.m. on July the 2nd, 2023, a gunman fired a barrage of bullets into a crowd, striking 9 people. 2 people were severely trampled as people tried to exit the City Nightclub. The club said they were using metal detectors with their customers, but they didn't want Mozzy or his entourage. 12 said anyone who was inside the club is a part of the investigation. The shooting was captured on video. Mozzy was arrested and released. Club security guards told 12 they heard the first shot after a fight broke out on the dance floor. 3 people have been charged in the shooting. The security guard for Mozzy was arrested but later released without any charges.
New video tonight from inside City Nights as a shooter opened fire into a crowd of people. Club management also talking to us about that shooting and what they say happened.
Brandon Stitt is here to explain that video and what he's learned. Brandon.
Mike, Rachel, the owner of the club, gave us this edited video. Take a look at this as the shooter opens fire inside City Nights. You can see the shooter at the bottom of your screen as he's firing, and then he turns around and fires more rounds. Everyone is running, dropping to the floor. Then, as he's making his way to the exit, he continues firing and his others are rushing towards the door. I spoke with the owner and his assistant manager a few minutes ago, and here's what they had to say.
My thing is I mean, every club has situations and stuff, but our club, we've had 2 things that majored that. The shooting in the parking lot and stuff where the younger lady was killed that wasn't on us and stuff. It had nothing to do with us. And of course, the thing that just happened, we haven't had anything else major happen. I mean, we did everything to our highest potential to take care of everything that went on and stuff. Even the little brawls that happened, our security was on it fast. They broke the fights up fast. Everything's done going fast. Our security was on top of it and stuff. It's just with that shooter coming out just out of the blue. I mean, if you see in the video, you see him, he just walks over and just starts shooting. He wasn't even in a fight and stuff. I mean, the guy he was crazy. I mean, he just had no respect for human life.
Shooter is still not in custody at this moment, and management wanted everyone to know that. So if you do know information, call police. We've also been speaking with them, or when I talked to them earlier, I should say, they were talking about the other shootings in Old Town, and they didn't want all of the focus just being on their club. Guys.
To that video tonight, we also have video of that shooting gaining a lot of attention on social media. This from a public Twitter page, and currently it has more than 100,000 views. The video starts moments before the shots ring out, and then the person filming runs out of the nightclub. Again, the video does show a first-hand account of the gunfire.
Wichita Police Chief Joe Sullivan says the City Nights mass shooting wouldn't have happened if people were screened before coming in. The Wichita Police Department says that there have been 12 prior incidents at City Nights in 2023 so far. 3 of those incidents involved gun violence. The 9 people shot on Saturday have now changed the shooting victim statistics for the city.
Last year in shooting victims, but due to the number of shooting victims that happened in that one incident, now we're slightly above last year. So it's a major concern for us. You can't have gun violence under control. If you have one homicide, if you have one shooting, you have too many.
Chief Sullivan says that he wants his concern about gun violence to be heard around Wichita.
So again, here are the facts we know tonight in connection with that shooting at City Nights. 11 people were hurt, 9 were shot, 2 others were trampled. The injuries range from minor to critical. Police have made 1 arrest so far. 1 person in connection, Brandon Young of Missouri, on suspicion of 2 counts of aggravated battery, but multiple guns were involved. Police indicate more than 1 person may be responsible. We'll continue to ask questions and bring you the latest on the KWCH News app and right here.
Police are still looking for suspects in that shooting that left 11 people hurt. 9 were shot and 2 trampled. And now the owners are calling for peace in Old Town. Good evening, I'm Deb Barris.
And I'm David Scott. Police have now arrested this man in connection with the shooting. He's 31-year-old Brandon Young. from the St. Louis, Missouri area. He's being held tonight on 2 counts of aggravated battery. Also, the Wichita Police Department is now taking action against the club.
KAKE's Leon Purvis joins us live in Old Town now with the very latest. Leon.
Deb, David, the owner of City Nights, showed us a notice that the city of Wichita sent him to suspend his license here. And he also says that the suspect who was arrested was part of the security team protecting the rapper who performed here Saturday night. But Sullivan is looking into whether Young, on where he was certified to protect Mozzy. The security video from inside City Nights Club shows a gunman in a gray shirt opening fire, randomly shooting into the crowded bar. The owner told us off camera he doesn't know how the shooter got into the club, but that once inside, he just started firing shots. He says the performer, rapper Mozzy's security team fired shots back. The owner shows us what's left inside. You can see bullet holes where Mozzy was sitting with his group when the shooting took place.
I probably prayed like I never prayed before. Sorry. I was scared to death he was going to die in my hands. But it's all right. I try not to cry, but...
One of assistant managers Craig Fox's friends, a security guard, was one of the people shot but is expected to survive. Police arrested this man, Brandon Young, who was providing security for the rapper. Police are looking into whether he had the right to carry and fire a weapon.
And that's entirely possible. I just can't confirm that until we've gotten a chance to look at the video. But understand something. You're in a club, crowded, with a couple hundred people. Even though someone came in shooting, doesn't mean that you can simply discharge a firearm into a crowded group of people.
Wichita Police Chief Joe Sullivan sent the club a notice to suspend the club's entertainment license for 30 days. He's also reaching out to the state to take action against the club's liquor license. But for Craig Fox, he's glad his friend is stable.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, holding somebody there, not knowing what's going to happen, being afraid he's going to die in your arms. Yeah, it's not fun.
As that moment was devastating for him.
He's one of the best guys in the world. He's helped me out so many times in my life. He has a shirt off his back.
The owner told us off camera that he does not believe the shooting was gang related. As for Sullivan, he says that more than one person was shooting inside the club, so he expects more arrests in the future.
Wichita Police Chief Joe Sullivan says he will suspend the entertainment license for the nightclub where 9 people were shot Sunday. Police were called to City Nights at 2nd and Washington after a report of shots fired around 1 a.m. A man is arrested facing charges in connection to the shooting. KSN Samantha Boring is live outside of the club with what police are doing to make Old Town safer.
Julia, City Nights is on restrictions by WPD now until Saturday. This includes closing by 10 p.m., no serving alcohol, and no live entertainment. Wichita Police Chief Joe Sullivan says it's unfortunate he has to do this, but he says it's necessary for the safety of those visiting Old Town. Broken glass, bullet holes in the windows, all at City Nights after a shooting early Sunday morning.
They were not complying with the agreement. They were not doing 100% wanding.
Wichita Police Chief Joe Sullivan says the club was given a security and safety plan back in May after a deadly drive-by shooting. This weekend, many going inside the club were wanted, but Chief Sullivan says the entertainer, rapper Mozzy, and his party were not.
We're talking about a nightclub where you're going to have several hundred people inside, that you would prohibit firearms inside, and you would enforce that.
Police are still working to determine how many shooters were involved, but they identified 4 different shell casings at the scene. Chief Sullivan plans to suspend the club's entertainment and alcohol licenses, but he's also looking into further action in Wichita.
I believe that the department needs more teeth into those ordinances so we can take more immediate action, because that will encourage compliance.
Chief Sullivan says it's impacting the perception of Old Town and the ICT.
To be able to relax and forget the troubles of everyday life and have a good time And now you can't do that without worrying about whether or not a shooting's going to break out. That's a really sad statement. It really doesn't reflect our city.
He says he will use every legal means to make sure the club does not reopen. If they ever do, he wants to make sure it's with proper management and guidelines. The suspension will last at least 30 days. We reached out to City Nights for a response to this entertainment suspension, but have not heard back.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jeff Herndon.
And I'm Julia Thatcher. A string of violence in Wichita's Old Town. And now changes could be coming to how the city of Wichita suspends entertainment license.
Under the proposed ordinance, the police chief would be able to immediately suspend a license if a violent criminal incident happens on the premises. The suspension could be up to 30 days if multiple criminal acts happen within 6 months of each other.
It would also require businesses to have a safety plan in place. Discussion of the potential ordinance change comes as the owners of City Nights, where 9 people were shot, decided to close for good. They say it's because of how they were treated by the city after the shooting.
KSN's Asia Simone Smith is live in Old Town tonight to explain why the club owner's attorney says they had no choice but to close. Asia?
Jeff, Julia, Charles O'Hara is representing the City Nights owner. He says the club received a letter from the city labeling the recent shooting a trigger event, and any other reports of crime will label the business a nuisance. O'Hara says the club, City Nights, was singled out and the owner was left with few options.
I mean, what alternative did he have but to shut down?
City Nights attorney Charles O'Hara says the club owner feels like he's being picked on by city leadership.
Violent crime seems to be happening all over the city, at all different locations, in Old Town, even in the city's own parking lot, and they don't blame themselves for those.
The shooting at City Nights on July 2nd led the city of Wichita to send the club a notice of chronic nuisance.
It's a way to try to shut them down and maybe even cause problems for the owner of the property, which would be the person that actually owns it, that they're leasing from.
Other establishments in Old Town who have also experienced crime say they also deal with strict regulations. Some explain this is nothing new.
If somebody is regularly having issues, the city and the police come in and tell them, hey, you guys have to straighten up because we're having this many issues. That's been the case for years and years.
O'Hara says the city is deferring its own accountability for the crime at the club and in the area.
We just jumped to a bunch of conclusions that really hurt the business owner badly.
The city and police should work together with the place that is having the problems, but the place should actually be stepping up and trying to fix the issues themselves.
We reached out to the city of Wichita regarding City Nights claims, and they deferred all questions to the police department. WPD says they will not comment on what businesses choose to do with their business.
The district attorney says Brandon Young was acting in self-defense when he fired his gun. Some tonight are even calling Young a hero. Our Eli Higgins caught up with Young today as he was released and joins us live with this exclusive interview. Eli.
Yeah, Katie, it was nothing but smiles here at the Sedgwick County Jail earlier when he was released and finally met back up with his family. But of all the questions this leaves, the biggest one is, where are the people responsible and why don't we know anything about them?
This was the moment Thursday afternoon that Brandon Young was released from the Sedgwick County Jail as a free and innocent man.
The shooter let go a lot of rounds, everybody on the floor screaming, I got hit, I got hit, I got hit. And then basically from there, man, I had to, take cover of who I had.
Young told Cake News in this exclusive interview that he's been a bodyguard for years with extensive training. So when the bullets started flying, he didn't think twice about putting himself in danger to protect the people around him.
It's active shooter training, so basically, you got to figure out, where it's coming from and then figure out who the person is first. You know what I'm saying? You just can't just pull it, go crazy shooting. So you want to make sure you got the shooter, who exactly shooting.
Attorney Charlie O'Hara is now representing the owner of the nightclub, and after watching extensive unreleased security footage, he says it was obvious what happened.
From what I could see, this was a pretty clear self-defense, and I think Mr. Young ought to be treated as a hero. He's probably saved some lives in there.
But O'Hara says there are lots of unanswered questions he's directing toward Police Chief Joe Sullivan and Mayor Brandon Whipple, who've both been very vocal about the situation.
The club, who has 15 to 18 security people there, has tried to warn everybody for a mass shooter and then blames evidently the rapper for having someone to defends those people.
O'Hara says another disturbing thing he saw in the videos.
The shooter just seems to be coldly walking out and kind of randomly shooting his gun, and just, as I said, as the police stand up, just walks out in a slow manner and turns and walks.
But he says what bothers him the most is that while an innocent man was locked up for days, we have no information on the people responsible for so many injuries.
But it seems to me he should be out there saying, we should be concerned. Here's a picture of this guy. See if we can find him. Who recognizes this person? This is a bad situation for Wichita.
Young says while police did try to make it right, he's just happy to be back with his family.
You know, they're trying to clean it up, you know, and apologize and stuff like that, whatever, so.
Now, Young was only supposed to be in Wichita for that one day as a bodyguard for the rapper who was performing that night, but by now he's probably back warm at home with his family in Missouri.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Julia Thatcher.
And I'm Jeff Herndon. Wichita police tonight to announce a 4th arrest in connection to the July 2nd mass shooting at City Nightclub in Old Town. Police say Jalen Thomas is in custody. KSN News does not typically identify suspects until they are charged. In interest of public safety, we are releasing this information from the Wichita Police Department. Now, earlier today, 2 other suspects allegedly connected to the shooting made their first court appearances. Amir King Ingram is charged with aggravated battery, multiple counts of aggravated assault, criminal possession of a weapon, and unlawful discharge of a weapon.
John Howes is also charged with multiple counts of aggravated assaults, criminal possession of a weapon, and unlawful discharge of a firearm in city limits. Both men are being held on a $500,000 bond.
2 people got trampled, okay? Everybody in the club walked on 2 people, all right? And it was more than walk. People were running, walking, stomping, jumping on these 2 individuals, okay? And I feel sorry for that because it hurts when you get trampled. I don't know if you ever been trampled at school, everybody trying to get out the door and you accidentally fall, everybody like, and then you know what I'm saying, they bouncing all over you. It's not nice. You don't want to get trampled. So I feel sorry for those 2 people that got trampled at the Mozzy after party, all right? Hopefully they're doing better, okay? Now, it's your club. You metal detect everybody except Mozzy and his entourage. What? That don't make no sense. Everybody need to get metal detected. You know that, and to be honest, the reason why you didn't do Mozzy and his gang because they wasn't gonna come in if you didn't let them in with Blicky and Switchy. Let's just be honest. You don't let them in with Blick, they wasn't coming in. All right, and the owner knew that. All right, so. He should have just not even had that. You shouldn't have been doing that. And the owner knows he's just as down bad as Mozzy gang is because he was condoning it. He let them in the club with the blick, and like I said, he knew they wasn't gonna come in his after party without the blick. All right. So I know how Mozzy and them move. They're not coming in no after hours, hole in the wall with no blicky, you know, with no glitchy. So. Come on, we already know what's going on. You let them in with blicks, all right? So you put your customers at risk knowing a fight could break out. And Mozzy and them didn't hesitate to use the blick. This dude was running through the club with the blick shooting everything, man. Like he was having a bottle rocket fight or something. He was just letting, he don't care if it was a man, a woman, somebody's mama, their grandma. He didn't care. This dude was blicking everything, all right? Like I said, I ain't never seen nobody in the club blicking like that. And most of the time, when people get to blicking at the club, you know, it's somebody outside, the ops outside, the ops is inside. You know, that's even rarer to be blicking in the inside because people be, you know, they be searching for that on the inside. So this dude was just blicking everybody on the inside. Cause this dude was just, he was here, he was there, he was blick, 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 hit the wall, blick, blick, just blicking everybody. 2 females got blicked, 7 dudes got blicked, and 2 more people got trampled, all right? So they was just, and on top of that, it was just an after party. It wasn't even like Mozzy was in there performing. He probably came in there with his music playing, because you know they be trying to get you to do little performances at the walkthroughs and after parties. But them artists don't be trying to do that. You feel me? They be up in there. They, you know, they gonna play Mozzy's song and he may hum along with the chorus. That's all you gonna. Gang. He ain't gonna do no whole bar, nothing like that. He may sing along with 1 or 2 ad-libs during the whole song and continue to drink his drink, but he ain't gonna do no all-out performance, all right? Because that's just how they get down, and they try to get you in them places like that and then try to trick the artist into performing, but Mozzy was hip to that. So like I say, he was in there probably like just doing a little ad-libs and probably was doing that on accident, you know, trying to catch him, and then he'll stop, you know, look around and people get to, you gonna spit the whole bar or what? You just gonna hum an ad-lib for us. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was some of that going on in there. And like I say, the people that was in there was his fans, but like I say, his fans, a lot of Mozzy's fans are from the street and they're confrontational. You know, when you got fans like that, they may be your biggest fan, but they ain't gonna be like, yo, I'm your biggest fan. They may just mug you up and down, cause that's just your fan, you know, and that's as much as he gonna do, cause he a gangster. So he may be your biggest fan and you may be right in his presence. Mozzy may be right there, and all he gonna do is, you know, he just go mug him. You know, he don't mean nothing by it, but that's just, you know, Mozzy got them type of fans. So when you rapping that type of music, all your fans ain't gonna be buddy, hey Mozzy. Some of your fans is, when you rapping that hardcore rap, your fans, some of your fans is too hard to show you love. What's up? You know, as much as they gonna do is, you know, give you a little mean mug, you know what I'm saying? But that's how they show love. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys in the street, they ain't gonna be all that. You know, they show love in different ways. So a lot of the times that love is misinterpreted as something else. Like I said, nigga, what you looking at? But like I said, that's all he can do. He too hard to come out and tell you how he feel. Man, I play your songs a lot. I really like you. My family like you. But the most he can do is just look at you tough, you know, because that's how it is when you got fans in the street, hardcore fans. So a fight broke out. Mozzy gang started blicking, you know, blicking like I ain't never seen. Man, they dudes blicking in the club like he was in the Matrix, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let y'all know, man. I'm out of here.